Thanks for joining us on Key Factors, presented by theraceguide.com.au. Stu, Rich and Michael Wood here to take you through a little bit of, well, let's say it is summer racing, and we've got the Villiers next week, but a big quaddie to get involved with before then. Yeah, one of the best summer race days all summer next Saturday. The Villiers is going to be a great day. Not great quality racing on Saturday, but great betting racing all day at Rosehill Gardens on Saturday. Well, we've got a massive card to kick off with. It is the quaddie we're looking at. It's 3 of the races with $5 the field and over, so let's get stuck into it. The first leg, it's the Christmas Handicap over 2,000 metres. And look, Chris Waller, 2,000 metres, first leg of the quaddie. We've got to say special mention to him, I think. He broke through the $150 million in prize money last time with Redoutable Heart winning last week, and joins that 65 Group 1 winner club. Yeah, he's one of the best trainers going around, obviously. What an effort since he's been here in Sydney, and he's got one of the best horses in the world, obviously, going around. Winks, if she was in this race, she'd have about 85 kegs. That shows you the quality racing we're facing on Saturday. Benchmark 77 to kick us off over 2,000 metres. Not too many litres, so it could be a steady tempo. The bias a bit up on the air. They've been racing so many weeks here at Rosehill Gardens, we're not quite sure. It could be near pace. So across the 3 key factors based on those conditions, look, distance has to be a key factor for us over the 2,000 metres. Reliability, there's a couple of horses that are up and down on Saturday. We'll have to look at those too. And weight, apprentice claims can make the difference in these lower class races. Well, that's always a good one to have a look at. But let's have a look at the market here. We've got, well, it is Waller Hard in the market, as we said at the top, but it's Trafalgar on top. He's always had an opinion of this horse. Was an early ATC Derby horse quoted, and didn't go on to Queensland, but it is $6 there at the top. Multifacet, $7, last start winner. We've got Montauk in behind at $8, one where the claim's going to help, definitely. We've got Hunter Jack, nothing wrong with his form either. The claim also helps there. And the old rumour file, it's not going to be the big odds of last week, but $9.50 there, as well as Shalamaneser. The rumour file, what happened there, Stu? I mean, honestly, I looked through the form time and time again after he won, and can't believe he won still. Let's have a look at him last start and see actually what happened. This is the rumour file, back in the pack in the blue and white, second last here, just tracking up off a fairly testing tempo. Hunter Jack in the yellow on pace, doing away with Balmain Boy, the grey, right about here. There's a couple in behind them as well, Stu. Yeah, look, really good to witness this again. It's not going to be the $61 the last start, as we said, but got to love the way he absolutely hit the line here for sure. And as you mentioned, Montauk there proved a bit of a handful in the straight. Yeah, Montauk, a pretty difficult ride and got going late, but the rumour file hadn't done anything in Australia. The thing about Hunter Jack's run, look at what he did to the rest of the on-paces. SGL was in the market, he's in the Godolphin blue, Balmain Boy's there in the grey. He absolutely smashed the rest of the on-paces there, which is a really strong effort for us. You got one that smashed the line there. We're going to have a look at another one in Trafalgar. Look, this has had 61 kilos this day. We're winding back the clock a bit. We're over 1,900 metres, but wow, this is a big effort to chase down the leader. Yeah, talking about smashing the line. I mean, Trafalgar, really difficult spot here around the tight turning hairpin track at Canterbury. He's purple, probably 3rd or 4th last here, just getting urged along, chasing after a pretty decent one. And you think he's got no chance here at all, Stu. Yeah, well, this is Unbiased, who goes around in race 8, and even here you're still thinking, nah, he's not going to pick up the ground, but lo and behold, out of the pack, here he comes. Yeah, and he's trained by Waller, obviously, who's a fantastic trainer of stayers. This is the furthest he's ever been, so it's the strongest indicator of how he's going to go on Saturday over the 2,000 metres. Look, you still don't think he's going to win. He just gets there on the line. Absolutely, and we mentioned weight as one of the key factors there. There's a few in this race that are up in the 60-kilo range, and a couple of interesting claimers as well. Yeah, massive swings in the weights. Look in your form guide here, which could make the difference on Saturday. There's the 3 claimers, Montauk, Hunter Jack and My Psychiatrist. It could make a big difference for them on Saturday. Horses that haven't been to the 2,000 metres that could take a big step up. Trafalgar definitely should relish the 2,000 metres. Promas, nothing wrong with her run last start in the same race. And My Psychiatrist has been smashing the line as well. And there's the good old rumour file. How can you say he's anything but unreliable after that last few starts? Well, there you go. A couple of gold bars there for the weight. That's all we're looking for on this show, the gold bars, the old gold bar guarantee. And look, having a look at the overall handicap ratings here, well, it's Hunter Jack on top, but there's one, My Psychiatrist, in at $12. Well, more value there with Promas as well, and the rumour file, again, nowhere in sight. Yeah, evenly matched race. The rumour file, because he's unreliable, we couldn't put him up there, but he could pop up again, obviously. Look, really closely matched race, but there are some horses at massive value, as you said, Stu. So quite confident for a value proposition here. Let's go for Hunter Jack. He absolutely smashed the rest of the on-paces last start. That was a strong effort. He's the gold bar guarantee for us. And My Psychiatrist, bit of a toss-up between her and Trafalgar, but she's got 9 kilograms less, so she's the one for us. Gold bar guarantee, going off early in the quaddie, I like it. Words, I know. Race 7, the second leg of the quaddie. Well, this is over 1,400 metres. It definitely doesn't get any easier, and we've got a few much maligned horses that punters love to avoid in Himalayan Dream and Winetails as well, both well back. A few infamous types here for the wrong reason. Let's look at them in a second. Benchmark 91 over 1,400 metres. Look, Snoopy went quite quick last start, so it could be a fair to strong tempo again. A good 3, and watch out for that possible bias, as always, on Saturday at
at Rosehill Gardens with the rail out 6 metres. Across the 3 key factors, distance is quite a unique distance range. Look, the dry Rosehill track, it takes a certain type of horse to win there. And stage of preparation, there's some horses ready to peak and some that might not on Saturday as well.
One that is racing very, very well, as we know, is Team Hawks' galloper Snoopy, and no surprise to see him on top of the betting. Already some good money, 4 into 320. Definitely overdue for a win last start, and the stable went all out. But is there anything left this week? The punters will decide. We've got Reincarnate on the second line at $7. Can he bounce back? Believe yourself. Very interesting runner there for Gay, ex-Singapore. Did run 4th in the Golden Slipper. 2 lengths to Moss Fun a while ago. We've got Paint in behind there at $7.50, down in the weights, and then High Midnight, $9.50, and Winetails hasn't won since October 2014, but in the market here, Mike.
Yeah, she doesn't win much, does she? But she's one of my old favourites, maybe not my favourites anymore. We've got to have a look at her run last start against Snoopy, who was so strong last start, wasn't he? He led them up in a same track, same distance race, Rosehill, 1,400 metres. A really aggressive ride from Tommy Berry in the green leading here, with a tough horse outside him, Moher. High Midnight battling on okay for 5th, and there's good old Winetails and the Cerise coming to the outside now, Stu.
Yeah, just pushes out here, and she's going to come home, as we know. But it's Snoopy out in front. Didn't run away from them, but just got the job done, grabbed the race by the scruff of the neck, and away he went. Yeah,
Winetail's got the strong tempo that she really relishes, so maybe she was slightly flattered, so potentially a hard one to follow. Snoopy just did what he had to do, got to the front, set a strong tempo, and proved too strong in the end.
Well, there's a look at one of the replays, and the next one we're going to show you is Reincarnate, and we're going to jump back over 1,300 metres, a day where, let's say, it was very heavily backed, and another horse that kicked strongly from the lead.
Yeah, this was an aggressive ride over a similar distance to Saturday. He's never been to 1,400 metres before, but this is 1,300 metres at Warwick Farm on a dry track. He does everything, doesn't he, Stu? He sort of shows early speed, kicks when he needs to here, and nothing wrong with that final 200 metres at all.
No, I love the way you said he kicked when he needed to, because that's when you absolutely put the race away, and there we go. There's the other boys in blue coming home.
Streaming clear, a massive win, and the form was fantastic too.
Yeah, that's the one. And look, let's look for the gold bars. We had a look before. Distance here, a few of these absolutely love it at Rosehill.
Yeah, Snoopy's proved that. He gets a gold bar for distance for sure. Reincarnate, never been there, but we saw that race. We think he'll be fine. Look, there's 2 gold bars for Winetails. How can you knock her? She loves the track and distance, but never wins really. Himalaya Dream, we know he's a Rosehill specialist. A few risks for the favourite stage of preparation. Snoopy prefers to be fresh. Believe Yourself's only ever won first up. And Reincarnate, was that a flat run last start? I'm not sure.
Well, look, I know you've tipped Winetails a few times, it's one of yours. I know that Himalayan Dream hasn't been one of yours, so I'm having a good look here at the overall ratings, and I can see both of them there. So we're going to making a case for both of these?
Well, what do you do with them? They're both there right up there, aren't they? Snoopy's on top, 11.5. Look, only just a narrow margin. He's a small horse up in the weight, so a narrow margin for us. Reincarnate, High Midnight right there as well. Himalaya Dream right there with Winetails, really closely matched. Let's go straight to the best bet and see what we've done with a really closely matched race. We think Reincarnate's a good risk. Rosehill's a bit of a risk for us. The 1,400 metres could be a bit of a risk as well. But down in the weights, if they ride him aggressively, he can win for sure at good odds. And Himalaya Dream, his Rosehill form, his form since he's been swooping, there's nothing wrong with it. He could be a different horse.
Different horse at Rosehill. There we go. Well, look, a couple of best bets there, a couple of roughies for the value as well. That's a first look at the first 2 legs of the quaddie, and we'll be back on the other side of the break for legs 3 and 4. Welcome back to Key Factors, presented by theraceguide.com.au. We've had a look at the first 2 legs of the quaddie, and now it's time to jump straight into the third leg, and it's the Pluck at Vinery over 1,500 metres. And, well, let's try and pluck another leg of the quaddie here, Mike, because it's been a pretty tough start.
Yeah, hopefully some skills involved. We might have to pluck a couple. Benchmark 78, 1,500 metres, fair tempo. There's a few going forward from out wider. Should be a fair tempo, we think. Conditions good 3, and watch out for that bias, especially towards the end of the day. They may get a little bit wider. This track's been so used the last few weeks. Across the 3 key factors, look for these last couple of races. They're bigger fields. Positioning run's definitely going to be a key factor in these races. The dry Rosehill track has to be a key factor for us. And scope, there's a few on the rise in this race we have to factor in.
Yeah, big fields on a big quaddie leg, so that's a recipe for a big one at the end of the day. That's all I'm hoping for. Let's have a look at this market. It's unbiased on top, $6 a field, another one, thank you for coming. Is it going to turn the tables here? Most Exalted was very good first up as well, $6. In behind, we've got Hogmanay, great last start winner, led all the way, and Kandinsky at $7. We've got King Darcy at $8. Here's a stat here. Started favourites last 7 starts. Another tough on-pace horse, and out to Classic Uniform at $9, and we know he's just a great tough roller.
Classic Uniform's a fantastic horse, isn't he? Like his stablemate Takedown, gets on pace, keeps rolling, really tough. Doesn't win that often though. Let's look at Hogmanay's win last start at Rosehill over 1,500 metres. Look, they took this race by the scruff of the neck, almost like Snoopy in the last race we looked at. He's in the orange, leading here out in front, really strong, unbiased, coming to the outside in the Godolphin blue with the white cap, and Embley back to the inside in the Bjorn Baker colours. But didn't do anything wrong at all this winter, Stu.
No, absolutely not. And like you said before, just another one that kicked away. And there's Embley there, as Ray Thomas said before, snuck up along the rail, another good run. But yeah, take nothing away from the winner this day.
Yeah, Hogmanay really too strong here. Probably should have been beaten unbiased by 2 or 3 lengths first up at Randwick as well. So no surprise to see him do this with even luck a couple of starts later.
Well, there's one that was probably in this sort of grade, and we're going to take you back to, well, this is actually a Group 1 race. This is the Randwick Guineas. You're not looking at something else. It was $81 this day. Gold Ambition is the horse we're talking about, around horses like Laura Main and Press Statement.
What are we doing looking at this race for a benchmark 78 form? I mean, it's a bit ridiculous, isn't it? A Gold Ambition, sort of third from the outside, and the gold and yellow coming to the outside now. Similar colours just to his inside, gold and yellow. That's Press Statement. Yeah. Pretty decent horse himself. Let Remain, another decent horse, gold and yellow hitting in the lead. And those top 5, Stu, this is high class we're talking about here. Yeah,
look, we mentioned Group 1. This is serious class, and there's some serious racehorses inside of him. And, well, if he backs up to anything like that, it's got to be a good chance here.
This is a lot easier on Saturday compared to that run for sure.
And you mentioned scope at the top as well. That's one of the key factors. There's a horse with potentially a lot of scope. Let's have a look for the gold bars here.
Yeah, lots of 4-year-olds on the rise in the benchmark grades. They're the type of horses to look for in this time of year. Most exalted, fantastic scope. It was a massive run first up. He's on the way up. Kandinsky's only had a few starts. And Gold Ambition, like we just saw, he's got plenty of scope as well. A few for position and runs should be favoured. Hogmanay, he's drawn really, really wide, which could be a risk for him.
A lot of gold bars there for position and run. Well, look, I think as soon as I said Group 1, wow, that's enough form line for me to get involved in this race. Where are we stacking up with Gold Ambition? It looks to be, it's one that you've talked about a bit. We're going to put it right there in the ratings.
Well, we simply think the tab guys have got it wrong. Gold Ambition wide in the market. He's second in the top ratings, and for good reason as well. You can see why. His first up run was completely fine, tightened on the rails behind Snoopy. Most exalted, though, gets the edge from Hogmanay and Kandinsky, 2 horses with scope. You know Classic Uniform's going to be in the top 5. He's always there. Straight to the best bet. Look, they're the 2 top raters. They're the best bets for us. Most exalted, Brenton Abdallah on board from the good barrier. He's got similar form lines to Hogmanay from last prep. So from the better barrier, he should be much shorter odds. So he's a great bet each way. And Gold Ambition, for all the reasons we said, great value.
Group 1 value in a non-Group 1 race for the third leg of the quaddie there.
Bet.
Well, look, jumping ahead to race 9, and we are going to wrap the quaddie up. They've come from everywhere in this race. We've got Wyong represented, Newcastle, Nowra, Kembla Grange, Canberra. They've all come to town for a slice of the 100,000 on offer. So how do we work this one out?
Now I know I'm exhausted after looking at the form guide for this one, Stu. This took hours to go through all the replays and find out which one we liked. And really tricky race. Benchmark 78, 1,200 metres, a fair tempo once again with a few going forward. It could be on the strong side, but there's not too many leaders despite the big field. A good 3 and watch out for that bias. See if they're getting wider later in the day. The 3 key factors based on those conditions. Look, it's a massive field again, so position and run. You need a good position on these big fields at Rosehill Gardens. Power, the ability to quicken and sprint, really important on this track. And distance. We're looking for a horse that can quicken and sustain over the 1,200 metres.
Another race, another open leg of the quaddie, and we've got another $5.50 favourite. Another one over $5. It's Sugar Bay Leonard, winner 2 of its last 3 on the top there at $5.50. Static Lift looks ready to go now off 2 trials at $6. Noble Joey from the Robbie Price yard, it's one that's going to go forward. We've got Hand from Above there at $9, and What Could Be from the Alan Scorch yard at $9 as well. So another very open race to finish the quaddie.
Yeah, and lots of replays to look at here, like we just said, and looking for one a bit of left field really to see an interesting run potentially at odds. So let's look at a race at Warwick Farm. Steady tempo, soft, sticky track. So looking for horses potentially from out the back. Choice Lager with the international jockeys champion Hugh Bowman sort of coming through here in the blue sleeves, and some strong runs out wide here, Stu.
Yeah, congrats to Hughie, but I am impressed, and Louis C.K. too, ripping home from the back here. But yeah, as we said, it's Choice Lager that sort of gets the right run here, and that was a tough ride as well. We've had a couple of those in the replays. Yeah,
it was Louis C.K. and I'm impressed, the 2 that we liked in that replay, but I'm impressed might race at Canterbury on Friday night.
We mentioned one too that had a couple of trials, and that's Static Lift, so we're going to take you back to its first up run. I think it was 1 or 2 preps ago.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a different horse last prep, wasn't he? He sort of, first prep, didn't do too much, trialled well into this preparation. The market said that James Cummings liked him, and you can see why he liked him. He showed early speed, kicked, and once again, finished off. It's all you can do.
Yeah, that's it. That's not just finishing off. That's done pretty well, and there's a long way back to second here. But that horse chasing back to Jacko went on okay as well.
Yeah, he won next start, didn't he? So the form lines were stamped, and obviously he won next start, static lift, and a little bit unlucky behind Noble Joey, third up that prep, and the trials are good, like we said.
One thing we always talk about the race guide is power horses at Rosehill, and that was one of your key factors this week, so take us through that one.
Yeah, really interesting thing to play up here. So probably Ronnie Duffy's making some decisions about 1,100 metres versus 1,200 metres on the Saturday. The horse that he owns, Sugar Bay Leonard, plenty of power, plenty of sprint, but the risk for him is distance. The last 100 metres over 1,200, he'll know that. It's a bit of risk for him. Plenty of other horses with good sprint, static lift, we saw that. Open book and quicken, even with the big weight. Across to position and run, Noble Joey, what could be, open book and Regents, all get really good inside draws.
This sounds pretty tough. Another one to wrap it up. You're giving us nothing here from what you've said. What are the guys, what have we been doing? Static lift, first up, I've got a few questions there. How are we going to play this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough looking at the overall ratings. I mean, look at the gold bars, positives and negatives everywhere you looked. Looking at the ratings, what is there, 1.5 there, Stuart? Length and a half based on our ratings between top and bottom. And like you said, the top ones first up, a bit of a risk, but static lift's the one for us. Just that risk on the distance for Sugar Bay Leonard is why we're not sure about him, and lots of roughies you could throw in. Let's go straight to the best bet. Static lift is the one that we really like first up. We think he's a good play. The trials were good around some pretty talented horses. And Louis CK at odds, he always hits the line. So if you're looking for one each way to win the day, he's the one for us.
Definitely looking for one at value. And that takes us to have a look at the quaddy selections. There's a lot of stockings to be filled up by parents over this break. So how are they going to get the cash here?
Well, if they win this, they won't have to worry about Christmas presents. They can buy themselves a few presents too. There's a few, lots of horses through the middle, but we're quite confident in race 8. Looking at race 6, Montauk's a bit up and down, so we're not sure about him. Put him in just in case. There's the 3 horses that should relish the distance, Trafalgar, Promas and My Psychiatrist. Race 7, there's the top raters, including Himalaya Dream at massive odds. Race 8, love those horses over the distance. Gold Ambition's the value. And race 9, you could go even wider, but they're the 6 we like.
All right, that's all right. There's a couple short, but I'm happy with those even ones because that's going to pay well no matter what.
28%'s fine by us.
Well, thanks for joining us after a little freshen up on the race guide. It's good to be back here on Key Factors, and 9 a.m. on Friday morning. All the feature race guides are going to be available at raceguide.com.au, and we'll see you all again next week. But thanks for having us.
Cheers.